Yo, what up? What up? It's not my first video, but it's probably my first serious video. I've done videos in the past, well, 2 videos in the past, but this is my first serious video. You know. So let's just jump into what's been in the news lately. I guess what's been on the news lately. I guess about Stephon Clarke. The situation with Stephon Clarke. This situation has gone, all across social media, especially when the fact that it's another black man being killed. Initially when I got this news, I wasn't really surprised at the circumstance that it had unfolded. Being shot several times. I guess I'm not sure. I'm not the article right in front of me, but I know he was shot several times, and the reason for it was because they were looking for a suspect who had been, I guess, breaking into people's houses or stealing stuff. So the police chose to shoot Stephon Clarke. He was in his backyard. I guess he looked like the suspect. I heard the suspect was supposedly 50 feet, and Stephon Clarke looked like the perfect person. He looked like the perfect person for the cops to execute. So for them, he matched that description. So initially, when they saw Stephon Clarke, like always, they thought he had a weapon. Or I remember reading in an article on a news site, they thought that he had a toolbar or whatever what they thought it was. So they decided to shoot him. I guess he looked like a suspect. So to them, because he had a weapon in his hand. Now that's just like a brief, I guess, synopsis of what the news sites and said over the internet. But if we really look at the situation, it's it's completely bullshit. Just judging from situation, even if Stephon Clarke was supposedly the suspect, what is the exact reason to fire off, I guess, 10-12 bullets at him? You know what I'm saying? Like, these police officers and their justification for shooting these people and executing them is beyond reasoning. Even if he did commit these crimes, like I said, even if he did commit these crimes, how was Stephon Clarke a threat? How was Stephon Clarke a threat to your life for you to shoot him that many times? These cops, these police out here are not being accountable for the crimes that they're committing, or the execution or the killing of unarmed black men. You know what I'm saying? Specifically, or a lot of the time, it is black men. I mean, if these polices were really doing their jobs, all he had to do was shoot him once, on the leg or some place where he won't die, or or if he was really trying to defend himself. But at the end of the day, you look at these cases, they're really just trying to kill these men. They're really trying to just, execute them. You know what I'm saying? And it's not just this situation. It's been going on for a long time. Throughout history, especially recent history. If you look, George Zimmerman, the George Trayvon Martin Zimmerman case, the Alton Sterling case. These cops are not trying to just defend themselves or they feel threatened. They're really out to kill these people. They're not defending themselves, and they're not quote unquote scared. They don't feel threatened by these black men. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you have when you have a gun by your side, you feel empowered. This whole narrative, the cops are scared of these quote unquote thugs or these black men, or no, that's not the truth. That's not the truth. They have these weapons beside them. That's why they feel so empowered to do these things. They feel empowered to do these things because they have the backing of the quote unquote law. They have the backing of the government to do these things. So they know if they do this, they will reap no repercussions. You know what I'm saying? So they feel like they have the right to do it, and they're empowered by the weapon they have by their side. It has gotten to the point where it is not written, it hasn't been written lawfully to go out and kill any black men who look suspicious, and to kill these men without reasonable doubt. But you can basically say that you don't have to have a sort of a quote unquote lawful reason to kill these people. You don't really have to have a necessary justifiable evidence to kill these people. You don't really need that now. You just could, nowadays, if a black man looks suspicious, you can use your own judgment and take the law in your own hand. The law doesn't say that, but it's as if that is being enabled by the government subconsciously. You really don't need any reasonable evidence to actually go execute a black man nowadays, or anybody, or any black man who looks quote unquote suspicious. You could actually just, if you are a policeman and you don't have any quote unquote, I guess, legitimate reasonable evidence, but if you feel like this person is suspicious, you can find a way to justify, incriminate, or even kill that person just because you feel like that person is engaging in criminal activity. So just going back on the initial case of Stephon Clarke, it's a very unfortunate situation that he had to be killed in his own backyard and in his own property, which makes it even worse, his own property. The lack of respect, the lack of especially for the black man these days is at an all-time low. And I think as a community of black individual, I think as a community, as black people, we need to begin to understand that these people do not have our best interests. We need to understand that they have never changed and they will never change. These people will never change. And the thing that's makes it worse about the Stephon Clarke, or makes it a little makes it worse to me, is that I believe that he was in his own property, in his own backyard when he was executed. So the fact that he was executing his own property just makes up the whole situation. Just makes the situation even worse to me. Worse to me that you as a person was killed in your own property. So you weren't really, going out and trying to steal or rob other people, whatever, as they say they were looking for. They were looking for a person that was stealing, and he wasn't that person. So I think what as a community we need to start doing is understanding first, like I said before, that these police are not going to protect us, and they were never meant to protect us. If you go back in history, if I'm not mistaken, before we had a police department or any sort of police department around the United States, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, these were slave patrols before that. So we have to understand the root of who these people are, and especially the police. These are the same people, that were slave patrols. That's where the police department and the history of police come from. So they're not going to protect us. So what we need to do is start patrolling our own communities. That's what we should be looking for to do. Protect our own communities like we did before, or what we stopped doing. That should be our main objective. Not for these, police to, quote unquote, protect us, because that's not what they're trying to do. I mean, how many examples do we have to have for us to understand this? Why do you always have to go through the same situation over and over again, and we still not pick up and understand this concept that they're not trying to protect us? That's not their objective. Their objective is to act like and put on a fake facade that is their objective. Go on TV, speak all this politics, say that, we just need a reform of the the police department. Put on this fake talk, you know what I'm saying? They're not trying to really change the core of the way their police functions. They're not trying to do that. And then we fall victim into the whole forgiving and all that stuff. We don't need to do that. We don't need to apologize for anything. All we need to do is start serving and protecting our own communities, making sure that we keep each other safe. It's not about trying to reform the police department on how the way they treat people. No, it has nothing to do with that, because it's not going to change. If anything, the police department in your community should look like your own community. It should not be predominantly white. We should not have predominantly white police officers in black communities. Because if anything, they have had a record of mistreatment of black individuals. So if anything, the government or the whoever controls these kinds of things should give the community the benefit of a police department that looks like their own community, if they want to the regain the appropriate relationship between the civilians and the state, or you can say the civilians and the government. If they want to regain that trust, you know what I'm saying, they should implement um, um, some sort of action in which your community looks like your police department. Why is that? You know, all the industrial or the quote unquote urban areas, you know, filled with police individuals or cops, where those police individuals do not look like the community. You know what I'm saying? They do not look like the community at all. Why are these cops going out of the way to work all the way in those type of communities? It seems like those communities are being targeted. Why don't those cops work in the communities that they are from? Why don't those cops work in the communities that look like them? So going back to the Stephon Clarke situation, it's almost as if we fall victim to not understanding, or we're just being ignorant to this situation, and not understanding that these people are not going to change the way they go about handling these type of situations. So it's very unfortunate for Stephon Clarke's life, or the life that he did have, and his family, that he's not here anymore. With that being said, I'll probably come back with another part. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how the quality it is, if you can hear me correctly, but let me know down in the comments section. I'll probably come with another video on this subject. Thank you. Please like, comment, subscribe.